When I qualified, when I qualified for my PhD, my guide called me and said, if you want to learn something about a topic, what should you do? And very innocently, I told him I'll go to a library and read about it. But he said, this is not the way you can learn things. You should go and talk to some experts and make a statement on purpose intentionally wrong, and they will all jump on you and tell you what is the right thing. And that way you will learn more. So I am going to follow the same approach today because I don't know anything about rebirth. And there are experts here in the gathering. And I want to learn about it, whether it really occurs or not. So this is the approach I am going to follow. Coming after 8 lectures already, I have very little to add. So I'll make some random points and raise some issues just to clear myself rather than, have something to tell you about. So we call it by different names: reincarnation, rebirth, transmigration. Some people have tried to distinguish between them, but I'll not go into these nitty-gritties of definitions. But what I want to point out is that there are 4 ways to prove it, keeping Shraddha apart. Now, Shraddha is a kind of, I take it as a self-hypnosis. You just convince yourself that it occurs and you start believing it, but that is not the approach I am going to take today. So one is, of course, case histories, and Professor Jeffrey Long and others have talked about Ian Stevenson. Dhruti Rathi also talked about it, Jim Tucker, and Srimad Raj Chandra, for whom we all have much respect, talks about his own experience of previous births, and many others have talked about it. So one is the case histories, and some really appear to be genuine. The other is out-of-body experience to distinguish between soul and body. And that also, there are a lot of evidence about it. Near-death experience is there. Then communication with the dead souls or dead bodies, matlab, souls of those people who have died. And then past life recollection, Subhash ji and others have, everybody has talked about it. So there's nothing like self-experience. What Dr. Dhruti Rathi talked about it is very convincing. And but of course, you don't need another proof. Once you are convinced yourself, you have experienced it. So experience is the greatest proof. But there is one problem I have with it, and that is called hypnosis. I don't understand much about hypnosis, but if one has self-hypnosis, then of course one can be convinced of anything. And I have seen some shows in which people ask you to become a animal, and you talk, you take out sound like an animal, or something like that, which is very, I don't understand that, but that is a pitfall. The other evidence is persons born with exceptional unlearned qualities, like in music, in calculations, in science. We have a case of Ramanujam there. And there is a possibility that they may have learned this in the past life, and this has been transmitted to the present life. But what I want to concentrate today is there any scientific proof? That is, can we prove reincarnation by observation of nature? So one proof or one law which is quoted normally is law of conservation, and it is applicable in science as well as in Jainism. That's why we say things are eternal and things don't get destroyed and so on. So maybe it can be extrapolated to Jiva. So if we can prove, we have to prove 3 things before we talk of reincarnation, as I understand. One is the existence and immortality of soul. The other is the process of birth. And the third thing is process of death. And I don't know if there is clarity on this, because every phenomena in Jain darshan is interconnected and interdependent. It is like Atma, Karma, Chetna, Gyan, rebirth, all are interconnected. It is not like physics, where you take a thing in isolation and define, like we say, density is nothing but mass over volume. You can't define anything. Particularly, it's very difficult to define soul, because it has infinite, qualities, anant gyan, anant darshan, anant everything. So once you define, that limits its faculties. So in Jainism, there is, of course, past lives of knowledge of jati smarana, but generally it is not in practice. No, I mean, I'm just quoting here what different faiths say. Buddhism says anatmavad, but whatever little I have read about Buddhism, I think Buddha never denied the existence of Atma. He talks of chitta, he talks of mind, but it is later on, because of that transient nature, Kshanikvad, everybody said, I think it has been introduced, Anatmavad, later. But what he describes is that something continues like a lamp. A lamp, the flame is not the same. It is a different oil, different, light. So that something continuity is there in Buddhism. That much is for sure. And Hinduism is very different. There is a hierarchy of Brahma. They say God is Param Brahma and we are all Ansh of the same. So there is a hierarchy. Then can we have our soul and then our organs, heart and kidneys and brain, they have different soul, and then tissues and cells. I mean, I don't understand whether there is a hierarchy or there is only one soul which exists everywhere. In Jainism, we have all souls are equal, potentially the same. There's no hierarchy. A cell has the same soul as a man or an animal or a deva or anything. So at best, I take rebirth as a model or a hypothesis, not as a, something which really exists. Now, what is amazing for me is that 3 or 4 speakers out of 8 so far had some personal experience, and some more speakers are going to report. Now, this is too much. I think more than 50% people, they have experienced this past life or near-death experience or out-of-the-body experience. So this is amazing, because this requires extreme purity. And if people had 50% of the people would believe in rebirth or existence of soul, then there'll be no problem. So I think this is a very amazing thing for me. I begin now my discussion with Mahavir Swami and Gautam Swami. The first question, a question which Indrabhuti Gautam asked, is the same what I am asking today. I have doubt if the soul really exists. And Mahavir Swami said, I give you 2 reasons showing that the soul exists. Firstly, we experience the same I in the past, present, and future. Since the body keeps on changing every moment, the experience of I or self remains the same. As we say, I am doing, I did, I will do, I am speaking, I spoke, etc. Who is this I? This is the soul. So those were good days when people had faith and believed, and I think Gautam Swami got convinced and he converted to Jainism. The second argument he gave is in dense darkness, where one cannot see one's body, one can experience himself and knows that I exist or I am at any time. We have no doubt about our existence. So that I is always there, and that I is the soul. These are very simple arguments. I think today it is very difficult to convince anybody that this is a proof that soul exists and is immortal. and it continues. Now, the problem is that we die every moment. Some of our cells die and are replaced by new ones. In a year, we have a new body, but something continues. Now, earlier, I think about 20, 30 years ago, it used to be believed that neurons are not regenerated, they are the same. So people said, oh, that is where our memory and all this is there. That is what we call soul. And as you know, science believes that in quantum mechanically, when neurons fire and all this, there are tubulins and microtubulins, and they go to quantum physics, and they say that consciousness can be generated. But now the new research shows that some neurons are regenerated. Now, my point here I would like to make is that we have partial death. That means 1% dies, let's say, every week or every month. 10%, 90%, or 99%, and new cells are born. But we don't call it rebirth. Only when we die 100% and we are reborn, we can call it rebirth. So total death is rebirth if you are reborn after that, but partial one is not there. So I don't know. The question is, can death of a cell and its replacement instantaneously be taken as a proof for rebirth? That is my question. To me, it looks very convincing. A cell dies and immediately reborn, and that can be a proof enough, as far as I think, the one of the strong proofs that there is rebirth. Now, you see, I started my discussion by saying that soul we have to define, but this brings me to the question raised by Dr. Gyanchandji Jain, that how the soul descends into a yoni and the rebirth takes place. So I wanted to just point out that it's not like a rocket which is, goes somewhere and descends in a place like what Elon Musk has shown. But it is, you have to believe in wave-particle duality. We know in quantum physics, a particle is not a particle, a wave is not a wave. They can interchange, they can materialize. And my concept is that there is a field of consciousness, and soul can materialize. We talk about in one sama it crosses the whole universe. So it is a wave-like thing. And then whenever it finds a proper yoni, it can reappear or it can materialize. So this is how I have defined this Sachit and Achit. Actually, Sachit and Sajiv are taken as synonyms in Jainism, but I don't think that is the right concept. And I will not go into detail because I have limited time here. But this I have discussed in one of the articles. And of course, our Dr. B.M. Modi, he tries to define soul as an electromagnetic field. But I tend to disagree because electromagnetic field is Pudgal, and Pudgal cannot be soul. I think we should replace that electromagnetic field by consciousness field, and then probably things will set right. So this question we can discuss some other day. But what I'm saying is it's very difficult to define a soul. And same problem comes with death. Different faiths have talked differently about death. In Jainism, whatever I have read, and Swami Chaitanya Pragya has sent me a book which describes it very vividly, that death occurs in two stages. First, the soul moves out through the universe as a wave while remaining attached to 8 points of the body near the navel, identifies the new parents, returns to the body after it identifies the parents where it is appropriate with its karman sharir and all that, where it should take birth, and then goes back with uh, all the Atma Pradeshas as a particle carrying karma with it. So death and rebirth are instantaneous, 1 to 4 samaya. That is what they say. Other point is this bothers me very much is this gati bandh. The two-third law is there, that in 66% of the time you have this bandh of the next gati, and of course Ayush bandh is there, and many questions have been raised by Dr. Anil Kumar ji. He has pointed out, and also I have read somewhere that the last minute's bhav is important, deciding next gati. So point I want to make is that if it is a mathematical two-third law, then I think it should be provable, and maybe it was clarified by Dr. Dev Kumarji in the last RTM. Now, Buddhism has a very different concept of death. And I have read these two books, the Tibetan Book of the Dead by Robert Thurman and the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying by Sogyal Rinpoche. And they say death is gradual and a prolonged process. First, the outer body or aura dies, it dissolves. Then earthly components sequentially, first the bones, muscles, smell organs, they dissolve. Then the liquid components, blood, taste organs, etc. Then fire elements like energy, vision, body, heat, etc. Then air, that is breathing, touch, etc. And then akash, that is skin, auditory system, etc. dissolve sequentially. Thereafter, the inner bodies, that is conscious body, tejas body, and karman bodies dissolve. It takes about 3 days to complete this process, according to Buddhism, or this book what I have read. Thereafter, the soul goes through a tunnel through frightening light and sound experience. And this is very vividly described. I don't have time to go through this, but anyway, if one doesn't get frightened and they have an opportunity till the last moment to decide their gati, and this particular thing, the appearance of light at the ultimate end of life, has been proven experimentally, because what they say is that some oxygen remains in the brain at the time of death, and at the last moment that ignites and produces a lot of light. So somebody experienced that light, maybe a few atoms of oxygen, I don't know exactly, but that is the soul, that is what they claim. So there is a whole sequence of it, and then Buddhism talks of 21 days to complete this departure, and then one is reborn after a long time. And same thing is about Hinduism. They say that you die, then the soul goes to Pitralok and meets the ancestors who help them and guide them, and then they move in the Chidakash, the consciousness field, and then it floats around till it finds the appropriate parents. So the whole thing is a mess, according to me. There is no convergence of views. And I think the equally difficult is the process of what you call birth. So we don't understand what is the mechanism of birth. Different faiths talk differently about it. And then there was a question raised in one of the past RTMs that past life memories is stored in part of the brain. Now, which part? Can we identify it? I mean, that is a very good problem. I think one can work with some institutions where medical research is being done with, where they have instruments. So there is a conscious mind, there is a subconscious mind, and there is a superconscious mind. This is, of course, a model. And the three can be connected by meditation. And then some people talk of the fourth state, not awake, not sleep, nor dream, but the fourth state, and that is where the real soul is. So this is what
Okay.
I had to present. Uh,
Thank you, sir.
just 1 second. I think there is something here. I just finished. Uh, so, uh, uh, so past life
Okay, sir.
memory. Can I just take
Okay.
1 minute to explain this?
Okay. Okay.
You see, the main point of my talk is here that how nature works. If we think about it, we find lot of phenomena. Let us say right from a cell to a galaxy or solar system, they have a common phenomena that everything works in a step, that is coherence. A cell produces about several thousand proteins every second, and not only they work in a step, they come into action whenever they are needed, and they stop working whenever they are not needed. I call it deep coherence. So what happens to one happens to all other parts of the cell. Then there is order, there is coordination, there is a synchronicity, there is harmony. Nobody interferes with others' work. There are so many parts of the cell. Everybody works together, but in harmony. There is entanglement, that is, there is instant connectivity. They are all in dynamic equilibrium. There is spontaneity, there is cyclicity, and there is a principle of least action, that means highest efficiency. There is no waste product, everything is used. But most importantly, there is a self correction faculty. If something goes wrong, they correct it themselves. So there is a tendency to work together, and this oneness, this is, I think, the phenomena which is created by the soul or by Atma. And James Lovelock, one British scientist, have proposed this hypothesis of Gaia, that Gaia is, that whole earth is like a macro organism, where every organ, that biosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, work in synchronous way, and maybe the whole universe is a macroorganism. And more recently, Margulis has worked on this concept, and they have proved that our evolution is based on this uh, availability which the earth makes of the right components, chemicals, and atmospheric composition at the right time, so our consciousness can evolve. So this oneness I call as a manifestation of the soul.
Okay.
I don't know if it will agree, and thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
This is what I wanted to present, and your comments are welcome.
Okay. Thank you. We will take comments and questions later on. So please screen out हो जाइए sir. Uh,
हाँ.
mm.
What should
Okay.
1 minute?
eh,
हाँ.
Okay.
I removed my
So,
screen.
okay. Okay. Yes. ये आपको मेरा स्लाइड दिख रहा है सर? नहीं.
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. So this next talk is from me. I am Anil Jain. Uh, I am PhD in physics, but later on shifted to reservoir engineering, petroleum reservoir engineering. So now my talk is a critical examination of Jan Stevenson Indian case studies. So as we in the last discussions in last 2 3 days, 2 3 RTMs, we came to know that except Charvak and Ajivak, all Indian philosophies believe in rebirth or reincarnation. In some Western reason people don't much believe in this. But in 1960s, a lot of research started in the University of Virginia. Prominent name among them is Dr. Ian Stevenson. He collected more than 2,600 cases of past life memories and rebirth across the world and wrote a famous book, 20 Cases Suggestive of Reincarnation. And he presented detailed case studies of 20 children from different countries who were reported to have memories of past lives. Of these, 7 cases are from India, 3 from Sri Lanka, 2 from Brazil, 7 from Alaska, and 1 from Lebanon. Despite, despite rigorous scrutiny of Stevenson work, several important issues emerged that require careful investigation before reincarnation claims. We can
Anilji,
consider one by the.
your slide is not seen.
Oh,
I am
sorry.
not able to see your slide.
Let me see.
I can see the CV of Dr. Narendra Bhandari here.
Huh? अच्छा. Let me try to show again. If it is not
Yeah,
possible, then I will read out. Now you are seeing this?
नो
not yet.
आप स्क्रीन शेयर करिए.
Escape. Earlier it was showing, now it is a problem. No problem.
नहीं आपने वो
Otherwise, I will read.
बायोडेटा वाली स्लाइड लगाई थी ना सर, वैसे ही लगा
हाँ,
लीजिए आपका पावर
वैसे
पॉइंट.
ही है तो. एनीवे है तो वैसे ही नहीं हो पा रहा है, कोई बात नहीं है. हाँ, let me read out.
Let
No
me read
problem.
out. No problem.
हाँ. So let me try once more. Otherwise, I will read it out. हाँ. Not able to see. I am wasting time.
नो
नहीं
नॉट
नहीं,
विजिबल.
कोई दो तीन मिनट से क्या होता है, आप यू ट्राई
हाँ.
शेयर में जाके आप करिए, उसको आ जाएगा. ये तो टेस्टेड टाइप सॉफ्टवेयर है.
हम्म,
ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि कभी उसकी मर्जी हुई तो चलेगा, कभी नहीं.
नहीं नहीं, कोई बात नहीं है. Now it is visible.
नो
No. Oh.
सर शेयर पे करिए ना क्लिक, पावर पॉइंट स्लाइड पे आके शेयर पे क्लिक कीजिए. नाउ इट इज.
शेयर किया है, स्लाइड
हाँ
शो
अब
हो
आ
गया
रही है,
है.
अब आ रही है सर.
आ गया, आ गया.
ओके. ओके.
अनिल जी,
ओके
मैंने
सर.
शेयर किया है आपका स्क्रीन. ये
ओके.
पीपीटी
थैंक यू.
आपका, तो आप बता दीजिएगा सर मेरे को फिर.
ठीक है, ठीक है.
जी.
तो कम टू सेकंड स्लाइड. थर्ड स्लाइड, मीन टू से summary of rebirth cases. Udyanji, you can see this?
यस.
यस यस.
Okay.
यस सर.
So that there are 20 cases that he has described. I summarized in this table. You see, these 7 persons are Prakash, Jasveer, Shukla,
शुक्ला.
Swarnlata, Ravi Shankar, Mallika, and Pramod. Now you see, important thing is this, that their place of birth and last place of birth, last life place, they are quite near each other. Their distance I have mentioned 6 miles, 20 miles, 11 miles. This is the maximum 150 miles, half mile. And Mallika case was very typical. It is in the same house. So you can see this is the uh, distance between two places, the present birth and the last birth. Likewise, you see the date of death and date of reincarnation or rebirth. So difference between these two is 16 months, 1 day, 6 years, 9 years, 6 months, 6 years, and greater than 1 year. And third point that I want to mention is the time lapse between rebirth and survey by Dr. Stevenson. A Prakash case was investigated 10 years after his birth. Likewise, the Jasveer case, 10 years. Next was 6 years, 11 years, 11 years, and 6 years, 13 years. Now, the issues that I want to raise. So, this is first issue, significant time lapse between investigation. As it is clear from the table, in these cases, there was a considerable time gap of 5 years or more between the alleged reincarnation and the formal investigation. This delay creates the possibility of memory contamination, embellishment of a story, or even deliberate fabrication of the story by those seeking attention or social status. Cultural bias. These cases emerge from regions and culture where belief in reincarnation is the normal.
Slide change करिए sir.
उदयन जी, उदयन जी.
Yes, sir.
Hello. Come to slide number 5.
Okay.
Okay. So cultural wise, these cases have emerged from regions and cultures where belief in reincarnation is the normal behavior. This correlation suggests that cultural conditioning may play a substantial role in the formation and acceptance of reincarnation narratives. Next slide, please. Geographical proximity. As I shown you in the table, the alleged reincarnation occurred in geographically proximate areas. This raises the possibility that children may have been exposed consciously or unconsciously to the life stories of deceased individuals through social interaction, family observation, conversations, or locals. Given the vivid imagination of children, it is possible that such exposure could lead to the unintentional construction of fictional narratives. This is my perception. Huh? Next slide, please. Once the child utters statements suggestive of a past identity, family members, often driven by curiosity or belief, may begin to encourage further elaboration. It is also worth noting that in cultures like India, where belief in reincarnation is widespread, such stories are more readily accepted. Possibility creating an environment conducive to the proliferation of narratives. Next slide, please. Limited cases of gender or species changes. Most reported cases include these 7, particularly these 7 maintain gender continuity. That is, males are reborn as male and females as female. Very few instances other than these 7 involve gender changes, and almost none support the notion of rebirth into non-human forms. This pattern seems inconsistent with many religious doctrine that allows reincarnation across species and genders, and may reflect social expectations or biases rather than metaphysical truth. Next slide, please. Variation in time interval between death and rebirth. I already shown in the table. variation in the time interval between death and rebirth varies from 1 day to as long as 6 years. Biologically, 1 day concept does not seem to be correct as life begins soon after embryo is formed. From the point of Jain religion, rebirth takes place almost immediately after death within 3 samay. As just told by Dr. Bhandari Saab, samay is much smaller than a second. If the time between death and birth is less than 7 months, reincarnation cases cannot be accepted. If time interval is much more than 9 months, then there should be some place where soul lives, such as Pretyoni, as suggested by Hindu philosophy. Next slide, please. Accepting the possibility of long interval between rebirth implies acknowledgement of an intermediate state, such as Pretyoni, a ghostly or spiritual existence, as described in Garud Puran of the Hindu text. However, such a concept is inconsistent with both modern science and Jain philosophy. Both do not accept the idea of misembodied human existence in a metaphysical realm
नीचे पड़ गया होगा, ठीक है, मेरे को
of
दिखाई
extended periods. Next slide, please. Case study of Prakash. It is very interesting to me. It is very interesting to me. Out of 7 Indian cases, one of Prakash from Chatta. It is near Mathura. Please stop your mic. So Chatta is in the district of Mathura, as described in the Stevenson book, is particularly noteworthy. Prakash claimed to have been Nirmal, the son of Sri Bholanath Jain of Kosi Kala, and his brother, younger brother being Sri Jagdish Jain. As a native of nearby Agra, this is my birthplace as well my native place, I found this case personally interesting. ये कृपया दूसरे लोग जरा बोले ना प्लीज. I know one of our senior friends, Sri Om Prakash Jain, who is resident of Kosikala itself. Currently, he is 89-year-old and trustee and secretary of Sri Bharatvarshiya Digambar Jain Sangh, Chaurasi, Mathura. Next slide, please. I discussed the case of Prakash with him. He told me that Sri Bholanath Jain was his neighbor. Not only this, Sri Jagdish Jain, the younger brother of that Nirmal, so-called Nirmal, was almost his age and both studied in the same school. Later on, Sri Jagdish Jain family shifted to some other place. According to Sri Om Prakash Jain, the incident received attention only after visit of foreign researchers. Definitely, he was Stevenson to Chatta and thereafter Kosikala. He considers the story to be largely a fabrication designed for publicity. His direct knowledge of this family and their circumstances adds weight to the suspicion that the narrative may not be authentic. At this point, I will like to tell you there is one site called Haryana 36. This is this YouTube channel you can see. You will find hundreds of reincarnation stories, all from Haryana. It is quite interesting. Now, summary of Prakash case, as I already discussed, distance between Kosikala and Chatta is only 6 miles. This last, his death was in April 50 in the last birth, and he died because of smallpox, and he reincarnated in the August 51. So time difference was 16 months. Date of survey was 1961, after 10 years. Just you imagine, in this time gap, how much correctness we can expect. Next slide, please. This is my last slide, conclusion. So researchers like Ian Stevenson, Jim Tucker, Bruce Gresham, and Brian Bees and others have provided fascinating case studies. But significant methodological, cultural, and philosophical challenges still remain. The possibility of social influence, memory distortion, and narrative construction cannot be ruled out. It is premature to conclude that reincarnation has been scientifically proven. More rigorous interdisciplinary research is required to assess the validity of reincarnation claims. Here, I would like to say a sentence only. JS should involve in such activities to find out some clue where we can enter, where we can prove something. It will be more fruitful and important. With this, I finish my talk. Thank you very much. So, our next speaker will be, let me see if I can show you, Dr. L.C. Jain. So, I will give a brief introduction. Can you see this screen? No.
Yes,
ये भंडारी साहब आप स्क्रीन देख
No,
पा रहे हैं
no,
क्या?
we cannot see the screen.
Oh, okay, I will read it out. Dr. L.C. Jain is PhD in physics, retired in 1998 as professor from Government Engineering College, Jabalpur, published a number of research papers in physics, written 6 Jain philosophical books, edited 5 Jain books, published nearby 80 Jain research papers, attended a number of seminars, conferences in India and abroad, and visited a number of foreign countries. He and he is felicitated by many Jain institutions and honored with many awards. He is member of many Jain organizations. His topic is My Friend's Memory of Three Incarnation. Now, Dr. L.C. Jain, please.
Thank you.
जैन साहब नमस्कार।
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार। जय जनेन टू एवरीबॉडी। जय जनेन टू एवरीबॉडी। मेरा टॉपिक है मेमोरी ऑफ लास्ट टू बर्थ्स। सो the meaning of reincarnation is the birth of a person in new body. The new body is obtained by the soul depending on the karmas associated by the soul. This is very important. In the present context, we are considering new body, that of a human being. Normally, a person does not take birth as human being continuously. He may get human body after a number of births. Some persons who are born as humans in next birth may remember some of the past memories, though it is not necessary. Here I want to narrate the true story of one Mrs. Dr. Swarnlata Tiwari, who remembers her last two continuous births. Mrs. Tiwari is the wife of Shri D.P. Tiwari, who happened to be Collector Raipur. Now it is in Chhattisgarh. Previously it was in Madhya Pradesh. In 1993. Those days I was posted as professor at Government Engineering College, Raipur. Somehow I became friendly with Mr. Tiwari. One day, Mrs. Tiwari narrated me about her past two births. In the present birth, Mrs. Tiwari was born at Satna, Madhya Pradesh. Her father was some officer at Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh. Whenever she used to go to Chhatarpur with her father, she insisted her father to take her to her home at Katni. Katni is in between Satna and Chhatarpur. That time she was hardly 3 or 4 years old. In the beginning, her father used to ignore. Once her father took her to the address as told by her at Katni. On seeing the person at the door, she shouted for joy and immediately touched feet and said that he is her husband. That person is a renowned industrialist of Katni, Mr. Satyendra Pathak. Mrs. Tiwari could recognize every member of the family. She narrated the entire story about the accident she met with. Her sari took fire, which took her life. Even she could recognize her photo, which was hanging on the wall there. Every member of the family was more than convinced that Mrs. Tiwari was the wife of Mr. Satyendra Pathak. Mr. Pathak was greatly surprised and was overwhelmed with joy to meet his previous birth wife once again, though in her new birth as a child. The family relations are still being maintained and till today. Mrs. Tiwari very often visits her old house and gets warm welcome. There is the second part of the story. Once she was singing some song which was not in Hindi. Her father inquired from different persons about the language of the song and came to know that it is Bangla language. Her father was very much surprised because nobody taught her Bangla. Her father asked whether from she has learned this song. She told that she had learned the song in her school. Which school? She informed that she was living at a place. I'm sorry, I'm not remembering the name of the place, but she told me about the name of the city where she was born there. And when she was going to school by car, the car met with accident. She was seriously injured, which caused her death. Her father tried to find out the details of that family, but couldn't succeed because the town was now in Bangladesh. From police records of that town, it was known that there was a fatal accident of a black car in which a girl died. This confirmed the story narrated by Mrs. Tiwari. More details of the family could not be possible. There was a wide publicity throughout the country about the girl, remembering her two past births. Shri Dwarka Prasad Mishra, the then Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, also came to know this. He met Mrs. Tiwari and his father and was astonished to have known the details. He arranged research on her birth in some university of Rajasthan in parapsychological department. The outcome could not be known. I may end the narration by informing that these days Mr. and Mrs. D.P. Tiwari have settled at Bhopal and are enjoying retired life. Mr. Tiwari has retired as Commissioner Bhopal and Mrs. Tiwari has retired as Professor and Head of Botany Department from some PG College, Bhopal. We are in constant contact with them. We occasionally meet each other. The following queries may arise from our real story. Number one, how it is possible to have 3 consecutive births as a human being and that too as a female child? Number two, how it is possible to have memories of past 2 births? I request the learned scholars to find out the answer of these queries. Now, before I stop talking, I want to make some statement. The questions raised by some gentlemen like our learned Dr. G.C. Jain, that how the soul enters a योनि, उसके लिए मैं ये निवेदन करता हूँ कि सबसे पहले हमें कर्म सिद्धांत कोमटसार जीवकांड हमारे आचार्य नेमिचंद्र जी ने जो लिखी है उसके बारे में हमें ज्ञान होना आवश्यक है। उसमें कर्मों के बारे में और अगले बर्थ के बारे में, अपने इसी जीवन में हमारा अगला बर्थ डिसाइड हो जाता है कि जीव को अगले जन्म में कहाँ और किस रूप में जाना है। पहली बात तो ये है। दूसरी बात यह है कि हमें जीव की 47 शक्तियां, हर एक जीव के पास में 47 शक्तियां होती हैं। इसके बारे में आचार्य अमरचंद जी ने समय सार पुस्तक में बहुत विस्तार से लिखा हुआ है। और उन्हीं 47 शक्तियों के बल पर जीव जो है नई जगह पर जाता है और नई योनि में प्रवेश करता है। ये सब 47 शक्तियों के कारण होता है। और जैसे ही जीव जैसे ही वहां पे आदमी का वीर और रज से एम्ब्रियो तैयार होता है, उसी घड़ी पर जीव उस एम्ब्रियो में प्रवेश करता है। और अगर कदाचित जीव एम्ब्रियो में प्रवेश नहीं करेगा तो उसका अगला शरीर निर्माण का क्रम नहीं होगा। और अगर जीव उसमें प्रवेश करता है तो उसके साथ में 6 प्रकार की पर्याप्तियां वहां पे कार्य करने लगती है। पर्याप्ति का मतलब ये है कि वह शक्ति जीव को मिलती है जिसके कारण शरीर का निर्माण संभव होता है। ये 6 शक्तियां जो हैं वो इस प्रकार से हैं। सबसे पहले आहार पर्याप्ति है, उसके बाद में शरीर पर्याप्ति, फिर इंद्रिय पर्याप्ति, उसके बाद में श्वासोच्छ्वास, सांस लेने की पर्याप्ति, उसके बाद भाषा पर्याप्ति और उसके बाद में भाव पर्याप्ति। ये 6 प्रकार की पर्याप्ति रहती है। और ये देखा गया है कि जिसके पास में ये सभी 6 पर्याप्तियां होती हैं वो एक पर्याप्तक जीव कहलाता है। और उसका सभी प्रकार के अंग शरीर के नामकरण के हिसाब से उनका डेवलपमेंट शुरू हो जाता है। ये 6 पर्याप्तियां जीव को एक साथ ही शुरू होती हैं, लेकिन इनमें पूर्णता होने में एक अंतर मुहूर्त यानी 48 मिनट का समय लगता है। शुरुआत एक साथ होती है परंतु क्रमशः इनकी पूर्ति होती है। सबसे पहले आहार पर्याप्ति मिलती है, उसके बाद में शरीर पर्याप्ति, इंद्रिय पर्याप्ति, इस प्रकार से शरीर का निर्माण शुरू हो जाता है। अगर ये पर्याप्तियां पूरी नहीं मिले, किसी जीव को नहीं मिलती है तो अपर्याप्त कहलाता है। जैसे कि उदाहरण के लिए यदि किसी को आँख की पर्याप्ति, शरीर पर्याप्ति या इंद्रिय पर्याप्ति में आँख की पर्याप्ति प्राप्त नहीं हुई है तो बाद में उसके पैदा होने के बाद कितनी भी कोशिश की जाए उसको आँख प्राप्त नहीं हो पाती है। अब आजकल मेडिकल साइंस से जैसा भी हो रहा हो, लेकिन जैन आगम ये कहता है कि अगर जन्म से किसी प्रकार की कोई पर्याप्ति किसी जीव को प्राप्त नहीं हुई है तो उसका वो इंद्रिय, वो अंग उसका तैयार नहीं, ग्रो नहीं हो पाएगा। तो इस प्रकार से पूरा शरीर का निर्माण आगे हो जाता है। और दूसरी चीज एक और थी कि अगर एम्ब्रियो 2 हिस्सों में विभाजित हो जाए तो फिर उस समय क्या होगा। तो 2 हिस्सों में विभाजित होने के बाद भी यही होता है कि वो 2 जीव उसमें दोनों एम्ब्रियो में आते हैं और 2 जीव 2 अलग अलग प्रकार का अपना उनका भाग रहता है। इसलिए देखा होगा 2 ट्विंस जो होते हैं पैदा तो एक साथ होते हैं एक ही गर्भ से, लेकिन उनका भाग्य सबका अलग अलग होता है क्योंकि जीव के जो कर्म पिछले जन्म के हैं वो उसको सहायता करते हैं, उसी हिसाब से उसको फल मिलता है। धन्यवाद, इतना ही मुझे कहना है। सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जय जिनेन्द्र।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद साहब, एलसीएन साहब, थैंक यू वेरी मच। और आ, इसको स्क्रीन शेयर हटा लेंगे। तो नाउ नेक्स्ट कम टू I will call Dr. Dhruti Rathi. His people shown a lot of interest in her own experience. So let she elaborate more. So now I request Dr. Dhruti Rathi, please tell about your personal experience little bit further. Dr. Dhruti
Yes,
Rathi.
yes. Thank you. May I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you
Share.
see this? Can you see the screen with the slides?
Additional carries in discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Jai Jineन्द्र, everyone. Thank you for the extra time to share some more thoughts on it. A few things that were coming up in my mind. First of all, thank you everyone for a wonderful lectures today through the series. It's really been encouraging to think more on this subject with everyone's views. So what I wanted to share is about the Pret Yoni. There's a little discussion as to where the souls stay in between births. So there are I'll talk from two experiences. One is from Sam Pernia's book. He says that the revived patients say sometimes they don't want to go back to the body, and so they are basically staying in that soul field that is there. So that's one angle that is available. And the second was a personal experience of mine when my father passed away in 2010. I lived in US, so he was in India, and so by the time I reached, his body had been cremated, and there was no way that he could have existed in his form. And when I landed in Bombay, along with my husband and my daughter, at the immigration counter in Bombay, there was the arrival lounge behind them, or some shopping center. So behind the immigration officer, there was one person over there whose side profile looked exactly like my father in terms of hair, clothes, his mannerisms. He was trying to upturn his pocket to find something. Very, very clear indications of my father's personality. Even I knew that he could not be alive because his body has been cremated. But for 10 seconds, that vision existed. And I thought I'm hallucinating with grief, that I haven't seen my father. So I asked my husband and my daughter next to me, I said, who do you see over here on the side image? And they both said that the image looked very much similar to my passed away father. And after 10 seconds, we could see the normal image. So with the Jainism philosophy, we know that the new birth has happened immediately. So on that basis, I kind of drew the conclusion that he is definitely not around, but he's probably taken a birth in another human form as a male person. And that's the message I carried with me for this experience, because it was like very eerie for me and my family to see that kind of a feeling just for a few fleeting seconds of 10 seconds. So that also kind of gives me a clue that maybe there's some kind of a field that, with memories or with reaching out to those fields, we can kind of superimpose ourselves over there. I don't know whether that is really the truth or not, but that was an experience that really shook me. And so that's something I wanted to share on that. And we also have seen that some people receive visions of people who passed away when there's a death in the family. They often comment, oh, I just saw him walking on the street. Oh, I just saw him on the room. So maybe the energy kind of stays, or they still try to connect with us. As in Buddhism, they say it takes 3 days or some days to pass. And in Ian Stevenson's case, there's this case of Shiva and Sumitra, who were the next person, I think probably was Sumitra, I get confused, was dead 2 months after, and she took the possession of Shiva's body and acted as Sumitra. So there we see that there's at least a difference of 2 months. And we also see that in that case, what we call as a birth happens as soon as a yoni is created, or a zygote is created. Does not prove true, because here the whole body was available to the person to take a rebirth in. So that is something that we should also probably consider it, that it's probably not in all cases that immediate birth happens only when a yoni starts. And there's also this other phenomenon of precognition, intuition, and telepathy, which are validly experienced by multiple people in the world. And I had 3 precognitions of accidents happening in my family. One was for my daughter and one was for my husband, and both of them happened within 4 hours of me feeling very strongly that the accident is going to occur. And when the first thing happened, my daughter was about 16. I was pretty calm when I got the news because I was very prepared for it. I knew that this is happening. And so without getting disturbed about it, I just could, address the matter. And in the third case, I had a dream, and that happened after 2 months, of my aunt. So precognition of some future events is a possibility that we can perceive. That's also linked to the field of intuition, field of extrasensory perception, which is beyond our senses, atindriya. So that if you're able to kind of tap into those sources and those energies, those frequencies, it is possible for us to kind of get a feeling of what is going to happen. Keeping in mind that the future is still probabilistic and it can change based on, the incident of Shrenik Maharaj, Dr. Pandari and someone else posted, of how Rajrishi Prasanna Chandra changed his mind and his thoughts, and also the impact of bhava at the end of the birth, which is kind of dependent on the bhava lesha. And according to Jain scriptures, the leshas change every 48 minutes. So whatever leshas you have a chance to kind of, change your mind and again change it. And leshas, I feel, is one subject that has not been totally, given importance in our discussion. And I think we should probably look into it, because there is a lot of information on that helps us to see how a departing soul and a new birth gets connected. And based on a lot of some research I had done and an article also I'd written, people say that the matching lesha is either received by a human being or carried on by a dev into the next birth to kind of, gather particles and things that you need for the new birth. And O'Hara says, in fact, let me read this thing. I'm sorry for the disturbance. O'Hara says that it performs a function of pinpointing more exactly a precise place for the rebirth of a soul within a cosmographic region, matching the final lesha of its last incarnation before death. So this is some kind of a track, GPS location, or so maybe are there magnetic pathways that we are aligned to based on the frequency of what we are vibrating in, is something that, we could probably look into it. Similarly, like I said, on transmigration, every 48 minutes. Now, certain texts in Shwetambar also talk about Devloks and Narak each having leshyas of its own, and the souls in that could have any of the bhav leshyas too. And I already mentioned the receiving of leshyas and devs, and the accompanying lesha is the basis on which the first ahar, which is called the Oja ahar, created by Tejas and Karman Sharir, is it pointing to more electrical activity that you take as a new soul? And at the end moment, again, wanted to bring out the importance of lesha. Bhagavad Siddhi Sutra says that Chit, Man, and soul's lesha at the end moment is engaged in desire of wealth, kingdom, and enjoyment. They obtain a birth in hell, as against the feelings of religion and intent to liberate, where you get probably a birth in heaven or maybe another human as a human, which probably explains the continuous birth of 3 female births of Dr. L.C. Jain that he just expressed. And Preksha meditations section, Lesha Dhyan, thinks that it's electromagnetic radiations which we perceive in the form of colors. So meditation is like, to me, like a lab in which we can experiment all this and get more information. So again, more stress on Lesha, color, and meditation for everyone to really get answers as to what we're talking about the paranormal level. And lastly, I just wanted to touch briefly on Samay. We kind of believe that when you liberate, it kind of goes in one samay for the perfect souls. Again, there are certain other information in Shwetambar text that I wanted to just bring out to highlight, so that in case you're missing out something on Digambar material, we can rearrange our information. So if you have the perfect Vajra, Rushabhan, and Sangan, then you can, probably reach in one samay, and 108 souls of these can attain liberation. Males with average Afghana or shape can go, 108 of them can get it in one samay, whereas females, only 20 of them can take reach, and 10 for Napunsak. So shape of the soul matters, alignment of soul pradesh matters, and also, like the number of souls that are traveling together also matters at the time of liberation. So is there anything that the additional soul particles help in movement, is something that, I'm also like kind of trying to figure out what could be the answers to that. So that's what I had to share. Thank you, Dr. Jain.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have some questions we will ask later on.
Sure.
Now, next, I will call
I'll stop
Dr.
sharing.
Naveen Mehta.
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
stop sharing 1 second.
Yes.
Uh,
उदयन जी, आप ये नवीन मेहता साहब का प्रेजेंटेशन आप जरा डिस्प्ले कर दीजिएगा.
I'm off, right, Dr. Jain?
नो, अभी नहीं हुआ है.
नहीं
स्क्रीन
हुआ?
आउट हो जाएगी.
I did stop the video. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Wait, can I probably stop sharing? Okay. Thank you.
ये उदयन जी, आप ये डॉक्टर नवीन मेहता जी का आप वो ले लीजिए, प्रेजेंटेशन ले लीजिए.
जी सर।
हाँ। हम्म। Now I request Dr. Mehta Sahab, please. Mehta Sahab. Dr. Naveen Mehta
उनका
Sahab, are you
स्पीकर बंद
hearing
है,
me?
उनका स्पीकर
Yes,
बंद
sir.
है।
ये माइक ऑन करिए सर।
ये उदय जरा
मेहता साहब।
ये स्लाइड को थोड़ा बड़ा करना,
अनम्यूट करिए।
स्लाइड थोड़ा एनलार्ज कर दीजिए।
Can you hear me now?
यस,
Yes.
Yeah. And can you see my slide?
Yes.
हाँ, थोड़ा एनलार्ज कर दें तो अच्छा रहेगा स्लाइड को।
ये उदयन जी करेंगे सर।
सर उन्होंने ही शेयर किया है।
अच्छा, उन्होंने ही किया है।
जी।
ओके ओके।
Is it good enough now?
No, I think we very small letters, and the color is we are not able to read. The background is very dark.
Okay, then the controller has my slides. He can put it in and remove mine from there.
Okay.
The presentation herein is by somebody, that's me, who believes strongly in reincarnation and does not need scientific proof thereof. Meditation reincarnation, this author, mine, main thrust is that reincarnation can be seen by the soul. If the soul believes in moksha and acknowledges that it's not accessible, then it becomes easier with the destination of Mahavida Kshetra. There are many Hindu style or imposed forms of meditation which are generally useless. Sometimes even Jain sadhus and sadhus mistake yoga for meditation and teach yoga instead of meditation. Now I'm making a very special statement about true meditation based on Jain statements. True meditation is complete detachment. It's not focusing on that sound there or on the toe or on the navel or the chakra. It is described in the Samayak in the next slides. It's easy way to get to it. But people think it's complicated. It's not. It's easy way to get in. There's no requirement of posture. You can sit comfortably on a chair or on the floor. There's no requirement to stand. For the sake of sublimation, repentance, purification.
ये what is the slide number, please? ये just tell me slide number.
Now, this is just description of the start of the
Okay.
meditation. And the main part is in the description of what you can question me. This is there in the Sanakwasi Samayak. That Anyatra उच्छ्वास निश्वास खांसी होने से छींक होने से जम्भाए होने से डकार होने से शरीर के वायु निकलने से चक्कर आने से उल्टी करने से थोड़ा सा शरीर को हिल जाता है, इसमें कुछ कोई बात नहीं, that should not worry about the thing. आँख की पटपट होती हो तो भी है.
स्लाइड 3 है, स्लाइड 3 पर रहिए, क्यों आगे जा रहे हैं?
I want to keep my body still for Enkayosa till I bow down to Arihant and Bhagavan. So that is the basis of Stanakwasi Samayak meditation. It's not complicated. My uncle taught me at the age of 13, 14. I learned it from him and have done it off and on, not too often. At age 15, during one meditation, I found myself traveling a long distance to infinity and arriving in a very, very large 4 to 5 level auditorium with humans, animals, birds, tigers. I had not been told at that time about Samosaran, nor had I heard about it. I was in Zanzibar. There were only 3 or 4 books of Jainism in my uncle's shelf, and nothing about Samosaran there. I thought I was dying, but I felt elated. That vision came back about 3 times during a meditation in my youth in Mumbai and in England, where I was totally devoid of Jain contact and literature. It was only in my old age, at about 63, I realized in a lecture series of Samaisar, I thought the description matched the Samosaran of Simananda Swami, and that I traveled without knowing it to Mahavida Kshetra. I've had the same experience twice about knowing about Mahavida Kshetra, and both these times there were souls around me but no bodies. At both these times I have been doing more frequent meditation than normal. I have done an intense analysis of all this experience and what people said in the RTM. I believe karma. I believe in karma. However, I did not find much evidence of layering in any of these talks. My conclusion is the more intense the karma, the closer it gets to the soul. At birth, the child's most superficial karma is where to take birth. Having accomplished that, the next set of karmas are related to the recent past life. The layer related to the next life is immature and is waiting for nirjara or addition of karma. I therefore feel the trips I made to Mahavida Kshetra were related to visions of my future. Somebody might question how I could have gotten to that stage. I do not know. However, when I look at the statesman, the history of very large number of people doing meditation under Mahavir Swami and attaining moksha, when I read about Lord Rama and Pandavas and many other kings with great alacrity, quickly giving up their kingdoms and wealth, I cannot but feel that moksha was readily accessible and they knew it. Therefore, one should not be surprised that simple people like me could and would, at the peak of very silent meditation, visualize Mahavida Kshetra as a destination. So I wish to conclude saying, until the end of the Jain fourth era, about 500 BC, there was intense awareness of moksha as a destination for the soul, because it was close enough to earth. The echoes of this awareness remained in many cultures and gradually reduced over time. I looked up and I found this. Even Christ, 550 years ago, 550 years into fifth era, had a yearning to go into the woods, searching for something. We notice that in very ancient cultures, that there is an acceptance of reincarnation, and when they come to Islam in the 6th century AD, there is complete rejection. Sikhism has some acceptance because of the overriding influence of Jainism and Hinduism. There is research going on in modern scientific without a conclusion. However, if one follows the giant path of detached meditation, it is possible to see your future life. Konukund Swami and several others through the centuries, right up to Kanji Swami, Srimad Rajchandra, and Dada Bhagwan, witnessed their access to Mahavida Kshatriya. Because we can't get to moksha now in fifth ara. We can get to Mahavida. Therefore, our soul knows that Mahavida Kshatriya is accessible. I wish to thank you all for listening to my little presentation. I have tried not to go over the allotted time. Jai Jinendra or Michhami Dukam from Dr. Naveen Mehta.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Now I call Dr. Gyanchandji Saab. He wants to tell something about meditation and other thing. Dr. Gyanchandji Saab.
Yes, please.
ये इसको जूम ये
Yeah,
हटा दीजिए प्लीज, ये कहाँ से खुल रहा है ये?
yes, please. No slides,
वो
मैं
देखिए।
एक्सटम पर बोलूंगा। देखिए
हाँ नहीं
अभी
ठीक है, लेकिन
हाँ
इसको
अभी
स्क्रीन को हटवा देता हूँ।
मेरी आवाज आ रही है साहब आपको?
आ रही है।
और वेरी गुड। देखिए अभी पूर्व वक्ताओं ने काफी कुछ कहा। पहली बात तो ये है कि मैं बिल्कुल ये मानता हूँ कि रीबर्थ, रीइंकारनेशन, रीबर्थ और ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन, ये तीनों अलग अलग चीजें हैं। जब सोल का ट्रांसफर किया जाता है या जाती है तो ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन होता है, और उसके बाद में रीबर्थ हो सकती है, और कुछ कुछ केसेस में रेयरली रीइंकारनेशन होता है। ये मोटी सी बात है। अब मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि दो प्रकार की सोल होती हैं, एक संसारी सोल और एक मुक्त सोल। मुक्त सोल का इन चीजों से कोई मतलब नहीं है, वो सिद्ध होती है और वो मोक्ष में रहती है, उनका कोई रीबर्थ, रीइंकारनेशन, ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन नहीं होता है। अब केवल जो संसारी सोल होती है, जिसको हम जीव बोलते हैं, उसमें कर्म और सोल दोनों का संबंध होता है। अब सोल जो है एक तरह का एनर्जी है, इस करंट है, वोल्टेज है, पावर है? लेकिन कर्म जो है उसकी ईश्वर, जैसे अपन किसी घर पे जाते हैं, सारे इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स हैं, सब कुछ है सब, और अगर करंट, लाइट चली जाती है, करंट चला जाता है तो सब डेड हो जाते हैं। एक तो ये माइंड करिए कि सोल जो है इट एक्ट्स एज ए एनर्जी, वेयर एज कर्म जो है वो एक्शन में विश्वास करते हैं। अब कर्म जो है, अब ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन में ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आपकी सोल निकलने के बाद में वो दोबारा मनुष्य में जाए या पुरुष में जाए, स्त्री में जाए। वो निगोदिया में जा सकती है। निगोदिया जीव पूरे ब्रह्मांड में फैले हुए हैं, भरे हुए हैं, बिल्कुल कोई स्पेस नहीं है जरा सी भी। ऐसा कहते हैं कि एक निडल के सिरे नोक पर अनंत अनंत जीव आ जाते हैं। और वैसे भी कहते हैं एक सांस में 8-10 बार, इन 8-10 बार जीव मर जाते हैं, 18 बार और पैदा हो जाते हैं। तो ये उस पर निर्भर करता है कि उसके कर्म जो है कि किस तरह के है। शरीर उसको जो मिलेगा वो निगोदिया मिलेगा, या प्लांट्स मिलेंगे, या बिच्छू मिलेगा, या सांप मिलेगा, या आदमी मिलेगा, या औरत मिलेगा, ये उसके कर्मों की नेचर पर निर्भर करता है। अब सवाल ये है कि मान लीजिए अभी जैसे बताया, मैंने कई केसेस देखे हैं। आजकल की जो साइंस जो है ब्रेन 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 की बात करती है, मैं बिल्कुल विश्वास नहीं करता। एज ए साइंटिस्ट, एज ए रिप्रोडक्शन स्पेशलिस्ट, एज ए बायोलॉजिस्ट, मैंने हिंदुस्तान में और रशिया में, चाइना में, अमेरिका में तो 10-12 साल काम किया है। मैंने बहुत सारे केसेस देखे हैं जिसमें ब्रेन डेड हो जाता है, लेकिन सारे बॉडी के फंक्शन चलते रहते हैं, सारे बॉडी के फंक्शन चलते रहते हैं, लेकिन ब्रेन डेड है। इसलिए ब्रेन की थ्योरी जो इन्वॉल्वमेंट की है, एब्सर्ड, एब्सोल्युटली एब्सर्ड, कोई इसका रेलेवेंस नहीं है। केवल सोल की थ्योरी है, जो सोल की वजह से हमारा जीवन रहता है। अब सवाल ये है कि अगर बाय द वे, जैसे कहते हैं हमने शरीर से जो है आत्मा निकली कर्मों के साथ, तो पहले मैंने बताया कहाँ जाती है, उसकी लाइफ पर निर्भर करता है। बाय द वे मान लीजिए, अब जरूर नहीं है योनि का मतलब, लोग योनि का मतलब है स्पेसीज, जानवर में जाती है, आदमी में जाती है, या पशु पक्षी में जाती है, या कीड़े मकोड़े में जाती है, वो योनि है। योनि का मतलब रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं है। बहुत से लोग जो है इसका रिप्रोडक्शन का मतलब समझते हैं। योनि का मतलब स्पेसीज, कौन सी स्पेसी में वो जाता है। अब ये उस पर एक्सेप्टेबिलिटी पर निर्भर करता है, और दूसरा डोमिनेंस पर निर्भर करता है। आप जो ट्रांसफर कर रहे हैं इस आत्मा को और कर्मों को, अगर वो डोमिनेंट है शरीर के किसी भी भाग से, शरीर के किसी भी भाग से, कहीं से भी एंटर हो सकता है वो, किसी भी भाग से। क्यों कि उसका साइज जितना छोटा होता है, इतना छोटा होता है, शरीर के जितने भी स्किन से भी है, स्किन में पोर जो होते बड़े होते हैं, कहीं से भी एंटर हो सकता है। और जिसमें एंटर होगा उसको मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा, और जो एंटर हो रहा है उसको मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा। लेकिन एंट्री के बाद में अब हो जाता है क्वेश्चन डोमिनेंस, कौन डोमिनेंट करेगा। तो एडजस्टेबिलिटी होती है। अगर मान लीजिए एक बुढ़ा आदमी है या बुढ़ी औरत है, उसको आपने ट्रांसफर किया और एक बच्चे में चली गई, तो उसको नेचुरली, अगर मान लीजिए हम ये मेमोरी की बात करते हैं, तो उसको तो बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा। या निगोदिया में चले गई तो मेमोरी का क्वेश्चन डज नॉट अराइज। अगर प्लांट बन गया तो सैकड़ों साल की उम्र होती है, हजारों साल की उम्र होती है। अगर सांप बन गया तो हजारों साल की उम्र होती है। तो ये जो कहना कि पैदा होती है मेमोरी, किसी किसी केस में आप देखते हो कि पैदा होती है मालूम पड़ जाता है, अगर उसकी रीबर्थ उसमें आदमी में हो गई। अब रीबर्थ में ये जरूरी नहीं कि आदमी का आदमी भी हो, वो फीमेल भी हो सकती है। तो ये जो चीज है, ये सारा जो है उस पर निर्भर करता है कि उसकी जो है पोटेंसी, जो उसको हमने ट्रांसफर किया है, आत्मा की कितनी है और कर्मों की कितनी है। और जो रेसिपिएंट है, अगर वो स्ट्रांग है तो जैसे आपने ट्रांसफर किया तो सारा काम उसका वो रेसिपिएंट ले लेगा, सारा काम। और अगर रेसिपिएंट वीक है और जो है आत्मा या शरीर, कर्म जिसको हमने ट्रांसफर किया है, वो अगर स्ट्रांग है तो वो डोमिनेट करेगा, और उसके अनुसार फिर वो सारी क्रियाएं होती। शरीर में जितनी भी क्रियाएं होती हैं, वो ब्रेन का उसमें इन्वॉल्वमेंट 1% भी नहीं है। ये मैं आपको क्लियर कर देना चाहता हूँ। तो मैंने बहुत स्टडी करी है और कई ब्रेन डेड हो गए हैं और सारे, लेकिन बस ये है कि वो सब जिंदा रहते हैं। तो सवाल ये है कि पहली चीज तो ये है कि रीकार्नेशन और रीबर्थ की हमें बात नहीं करनी चाहिए। इट इज सिंपली ए मैटर ऑफ ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन बिटवीन टू बॉडीज, लिविंग बॉडीज। जरूर नहीं आदमी 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 भी जा सकता है। बहुत रेयरली रेयरली जो है एक से एक आदमी चला गया। अब क्वेश्चन ये उठता है कि आदमी है, मेल है, फीमेल है, अब वहाँ डोमिनेंस का सवाल आ जाएगा। अगर एक्स एक्स है तो फीमेल है, अगर क्रोमोसोम एक्स वाई है और मेल है। अब उसमें भी मैंने देखा है, मैंने खुद ने किया है। मैं जो बात अब आगे बताने जा रहा हूँ, जो मैंने खुद ने किया है। अब आप देखिए कि एम्ब्रियो, मैंने फर्टिलाइजेशन किया, इन विट्रो फर्टिलाइजेशन किया, विवो फर्टिलाइजेशन किया। फर्टिलाइजेशन के बाद में आप, even before fertilization, I kept that sperm for years together, alive, potent, बिल्कुल without losing any potency. I kept that ovum many years without losing its potency. I kept that embryo without losing its potency. और जब उसको चाहा, हमने मान लीजिए हिंदुस्तान से अमेरिका भेजना है पुराने जमाने में, आजकल तो फ्रीजिंग टेक्निक हो गई है। पुराने जमाने में हम रेबिट्स में, रेट्स में, इनमें भेजते थे। उनकी बच्चेदानी को जो है हम मेडिकेट करते थे और कैप्सूल में डाल करके या हिस्सा में डाल करके उस मटेरियल को भेज देते थे। और 7 दिन बाद, 15 दिन बाद, महीने भर बाद उसको निकाल करके और उसको फिर हम आगे काम में लेते। तो ये जो थ्योरी है हमने देखिए प्रैक्टिकली। अब कहाँ एज की, आयु कर्म, आयु कर्म है, लेकिन हमने उसको अगर निडेशन में कर दिया, उसको इनएक्टिव फेज में कर दिया, तो वो ही स्पर्म जो है 10 साल, 20 साल, 50 साल जिंदा रहता है, और उसके बाद में आप बच्चा पैदा करते हो। उसी तरह से ओवम है। तो कहने का तात्पर्य ये है कि जैन धर्म में जो कहा है उसको समझने की आवश्यकता है। हम समझ नहीं पाते हैं, समझी, और हम जो है अपने अपनी मारते हैं, दूसरों के एग्जाम्पल देते हैं। ये जो केसेस हैं, किसी ने 10 केस बताया, किसी ने 20 केस बताया, किसी 100। मैं आपको हजारों केस बता सकता हूँ। मेरे घर में कई केस ऐसे हो गए, समझे। हमारे भी ड्रीम्स क्या है, हमारे ड्रीम्स जो आते हैं कभी कभी याद आ जाती है, जिसको कभी चीजों को देखा भी नहीं है वो कैसे आ जाती है। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि हमें वी शुड यूज अवर ओन ब्रेन, समझे नहीं। हम अपने ब्रेन को, ब्रेन का तो मतलब है जस्ट फॉर अवर लिविंगनेस, अदरवाइज ब्रेन हैज नो रोल। जो है जहाँ तक रिप्रोडक्शन का सवाल है, लोग बाग जो है डीएनए आरएनए को जो है एक्टिव लिविंग मानते हैं। अब मुझे ताज्जुब होता है, इतने पढ़े लिखे लोग जो हैं, किसी डॉक्टर ने, आपने देखा, आपने बच्चे पैदा हो गए, आपके पोते पैदा हो गए, उसके पैदा हो गए, हैव यू सीन योर ओन स्पर्म? किसी फीमेल से पूछता हूँ, हैव यू सीन हर ओन ओवम? नहीं देखा होगा जनरली किसी ने, समझे नहीं। तो सवाल ये है कि प्रैक्टिकली देखो, उसको प्रैक्टिकली करके देखो, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड अवर ओन फिलोसफी कि जैन फिलोसफी क्या कहती है, समझे नहीं। जैन फिलोसफी ने सही क्या है कि आप ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन करते हो, इट मे टेक फ्यू सेकंड, इट मे टेक फ्यू इयर्स, इट मे टेक फ्यू डिकेड्स, और इट मे नॉट टेक दैट मच टाइम, फॉर एवर खत्म हो जाएगा। तो ये सवाल है। और मैं बताने को बहुत बता रहा हूँ, लेकिन टाइम आप लोगों ने कम रखा था, इसलिए मैं कोई स्लाइड बना के नहीं लाया। आई कैन एक्सटेम्पोरली स्पीक फॉर आवर्स टुगेदर ऑन दिस, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत काम किया है, अपने हाथों से किया है। और आप बता दीजिए मुझे, जो स्पर्म की लाइफ जो है कुछ चंद मिनट होती है, मैंने उसको कई साल तक रखा है और उसे बच्चे पैदा किए हैं। इसी तरह से ओवम को कई साल तक रखा है और बच्चा पैदा किए हैं, स्पर्म को किया है और स्पर्म को फिर जो है ट्रांसफर किया है, इस सॉरी एम्ब्रियो को। तो ये कहना कि जो है उसने ये कहा, हम हमेशा अपनी बात नहीं करते, हम दूसरों को कोट करते। अरे भाई, व्हाट यू हैव डन, आप अपना कोट करो ना, कि आपने क्या किया। दूसरों की स्लाइड दिखा रहे हैं, उसको दिखा रहे हैं, वो ये बोल रहा है, वो ये बोल रहा है, वो ये बोल रहा है। अरे व्हाट यू आर सेइंग, आप खुद का बात बताइए ना, कि आपने क्या जानते हो। जैन धर्म के बारे में नहीं जानते, वैष्णव धर्म के बारे में नहीं जानते, किसी के बारे में जानते नहीं है, और हम बातें करते हैं बस। तो इन नटशेल में ये कह रहा हूँ कि जो है आपको खुद को नॉलेज होनी चाहिए कि ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन है, ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन में रिजल्ट इनटू रीबर्थ, और इन वेरी वेरी रेयर केसेस इनकार्नेशन का मतलब होता है अवतार। अवतार का मतलब ये है कि जो, जैसे वैष्णव लोग कहते हैं कि भगवान का अवतार होता है, जैन थोड़ी तो मानते नहीं है, जैन थोड़ी तो कहते हैं अवतार होता ही नहीं है। तो ये अलग अलग चीजें हैं। इसलिए आई से वी आर डूइंग वट एवर वी ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन, अगर वहाँ सेटल हो जाता है उसका एनवायरनमेंट, तो कुछ एडजस्ट हो जाती है, तो वो बच्चा जो है, दैट कुछ जरूर नहीं है 20 साल 30 साल 50 साल 100 साल रहे, वो जल्दी मर सकती है। वो दैट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन द एनवायरनमेंट, कि उसको वहाँ का जो है बॉडी का एनवायरनमेंट कैसे मिलता है, कैसा ट्रीटमेंट मिलता है, खाना पीना कैसे मिलता है, कि मिलता है। तो इन नटशेल आई कैन से दैट वी शुड बिलीव इन जैनिज्म, और जैन धर्म में जो लिखा है उसको केवल समझने की आवश्यकता है। अब एलसी जैन ने बहुत कुछ कहा, थ्योरी में कुछ नहीं रखा है। व्हाट यू हैव डन योरसेल्फ, मैं यही पूछना चाहता हूँ, आपकी लाइफ में आपने हैव यू सीन योर ओन स्पर्म? किसी फीमेल से पूछना, उनको ये नहीं मालूम कि मेंस्ट्रुएशन क्या होता है, और फर्टिलाइजेशन कहाँ होता है, किस जगह होता है, कितना समय लगता है, समझे नहीं, निर्डेशन क्या होता है। तो दूसरों को रेफरेंस देकर के हम स्लाइड दिखा देते हैं, ठीक है। तो सॉरी टू फॉर माय
ओके साहब,
बिटर
ओके सर,
क्रिटिसिज्म।
ठीक
थैंक यू सो
साहब,
मच फॉर
थैंक
गिविंग मी टाइम।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू वेरी मच, थैंक यू सर। हाँ, so now this is the question answer session. Anybody want to ask some question, he can raise his hand or her hand. So I have one question myself with Dr. LC Jansab. So uh, he has shown one thing regarding this reincarnation of Swarnalata. Uh, are you able to see my slide now? I don't know.
हाँ हाँ हाँ, दिख रही है सर, दिख रही है,
हाँ,
दिख रही
दिख
है,
रही
दिख
है?
रही है।
ओके सर। सो आपने जिस इसका जब केस बताया स्वर्णलता का, इट इज
जी
ऑल्सो रिकॉर्डेड इन द बुक 20 केसेस सजेस्टिव ऑफ री इनकारनेशन। सो
अच्छा।
उसमें जबलपुर कटनी ये सब है। इट इज 150 माइल्स अवे आई थिंक फ्रॉम वन प्लेस टू अदर प्लेस।
हाँ हाँ
हर डेथ was in 1939 and date of birth was March 48
हाँ हाँ
after the time gap of 9 years. And first survey was done in 1959 after 11 years. So this is the story he has also written in his book. This is one thing. So what I mean to say, do you think that there is some different type of yoni in between death and birth? Because time lapse is this. This is one thing. And another thing, just adjoining to this, I know two of my friends. They claim that they know their past life. I don't have time, otherwise I can explain that. When I cross question, I found they are not correct. This is my observation. Now you want to tell something about this? After 9 years, she got birth, and after 11 years, her case was recorded.
ये देखिए, हेलो अनिल जी, अनिल भाई साहब,
जी सर, जी सर।
मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि जो स्टोरी मुझे वो कंसर्न पर्सन ने मुझे बतलाई, सुनाई, क्योंकि वी हैड वेरी गुड रिलेशन, घर पे आना जाना, घर पे बैठे हुए उन्होंने अपना पिछले 2 जन्मों का बताया, तो वो मैंने आपको स्टोरी बताई है, रियल स्टोरी। बाकी मुझे ये नहीं मालूम कि किस समय में, तो यानी 93 में तो उन्होंने बताया, अभी तो उनकी एज करीब 70 ईयर्स हो गई है, तो उनको रिटायर हुए ही मेरे ख्याल में 5-10 साल हो गए, 70 या 75 ईयर्स हो गई होंगी। तो वो
नहीं सर, वो ये 75 नहीं सर, ये 82 3 ईयर्स हो गई।
नहीं 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 हुई, वो तो मैं तो जानता हूँ ना।
ये
अभी तो
39 में तो वो एक्सपायर हो गई थी स्वर्णलता, जो पुराने जन्म में।
39 में?
हाँ।
नहीं, लेकिन अभी सुनिए, अभी वो रिटायर हुई है 2013 या 14 में, वहां से, एट द एज ऑफ 65 ईयर्स। तो अच्छा, और उनके हस्बैंड जो है वो मेरे रिटायरमेंट के काफी दिन बाद, काफी वर्षों के बाद रिटायर हुए हैं। तो अब डेट का और एज का तो मुझे नहीं ख्याल आ रहा, बाकी जो कुछ भी उन्होंने घटनाएं जो बताई हैं वो सब बिल्कुल सही घटनाएं हैं, सही उन्होंने बताया हुआ है, और उस पर रिसर्च भी हुई है। मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री जो थे उस समय, डीपी मिश्रा जी, द्वारका प्रसाद मिश्रा जी, उन्होंने काफी इसके ऊपर राजस्थान में रिसर्च वगैरह कराई थी। यानी जिस समय की ये घटना है, उस समय पूरा सब जगह मध्य प्रदेश और पूरे कंट्री में काफी तेजी से ये र्यूमर, काफी तेजी से ये घटना प्रकाश में आई थी कि इस प्रकार से है कि एक बच्ची को पिछले दो जन्मों का अपना ज्ञान, उनको पूरी मेमोरी है। तो उतना ही मुझे मालूम है, बाकी और क्या रिसर्च हुई है, क्या ये मुझे
कोई
नहीं
बात
मालूम
नहीं
है।
है, कोई बात नहीं है। हाँ।
ये कोई नई बात है, ये कोई बताने की बात है, एवरीबॉडी नोज अबाउट दिस। I can give thousands एग्जाम्पल।
यस, ठीक है। ये डॉक्टर धृति जी, आपसे एक क्वेश्चन मैं और थोड़ा पूछना चाह रहा हूँ, फिर मैं दूसरे क्वेश्चन लूंगा, बहुत ही ये मुझे आपने एक बताया, आपने एक सेशन अटेंड किया था जिसमें कि आउट ऑफ बॉडी मूवमेंट का आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया था। हाँ। सो मेरा उसमें एक क्वेश्चन ये है कि आउट ऑफ बॉडी मूवमेंट अकेले आपको उन्होंने कराया था या ग्रुप था? अगर
नहीं,
ग्रुप था,
हाँ, ग्रुप था। न्यूयॉर्क में जूनियर जावेद सेंटर करके बड़ा कन्वेंशन हॉल है, उसमें लगभग 2000 लोग आ सकते हैं, तो सब साथ में ही थे। तो ऐसा नहीं कि इंडिविजुअली किसी को इंस्ट्रक्शन दे रहे थे, इट वाज जस्ट अ ग्रुप एक्सपीरियंस, ग्रुप मेडिटेशन या ग्रुप जो भी आप मानिए। और मेरे अलावा काफी और लोगों ने भी ये एक्सपीरियंस किया था, मैं अकेली नहीं।
नो प्रॉब्लम। तो उन्होंने जो एक्सपीरियंस किया और आपने जो एक्सपीरियंस किया बाद में शेयर किया, सब सेम था या अलग अलग था?
See, there was not much time to share, but when one person talked about it, a lot of other people raised their hands and they had a similar experiences, because I have 2000 people.
मैं एक चीज जिसमें इंटरेस्टेड हूँ, जैसे कि आउट ऑफ बॉडी एक्सपीरियंस, अगर कोई फिर से एक्सपेरिमेंट रिपीट करते हैं और सेम एक्सपीरियंस होता है, तो एक तो उसमें वैलिडिटी में मोहर लगती है। नंबर 2, जैसे कि आपकी बॉडी के पास में 4 लोग बैठे हैं और आपको एक्सपीरियंस हो रहा है आउट ऑफ बॉडी मूवमेंट का, कि आप अपनी बॉडी को देख पा रही हैं, तो नियर बाई जो लोग हैं उनको भी आप देख पा रही थी क्या?
नहीं, तभी इट वाज जस्ट कॉन्सेंट्रेटिंग ऑन माय ओन बॉडी, कि मैं ऊपर फ्लोट हो रही हूँ, नीचे बॉडी है, और वहां पे देख रहे, और ऐसा
वो
एक्सपीरियंस
आसपास के लोगों को नहीं देख पा रही
नहीं
थी।
नहीं 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 देखा, बिकॉज एक तो क्या है कि यू आर वेरी शॉक कि आप क्या देख रहे हैं, पहली बार तो आप एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं, एंड एवरीथिंग इज लास्टिंग फॉर फ्लीटिंग सेकेंड्स, ऐसा नहीं कि यू हैव 10 minutes टू काइंड ऑफ understand and absorb. It is like very fast moving, very fast perception, and you don't know what to expect. पहली बार एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं तो आप खुद एक द्विधा में पड़ जाते हैं, ये क्या हो गया, that way.
चलिए ठीक है। सो ये मेरा क्वेश्चन था,
और ये
मतलब फिर।
आप मेडिटेशन, कोई भी मेडिटेशन कर रहे होंगे ना, हु आर डीप एक्सपीरियंस्ड इन मेडिटेशन, they will be able to give you data. There is no question about, no doubt in my mind. Because any meditation, आप रविशंकर के मेडिटेशन देखो, सुदर्शन क्रिया में देखो, या like किसी का भी मेडिटेशन टेक्निक करो, once you're able to relax your body, you are able to feel that out of body experience. और दूसरा मेरा एक एक्सपीरियंस है, डॉक्टर सिद्धार्थ दलाल, जिनको अभी चाइना में अवार्ड भी मिला, उन्होंने, मैंने जब उनको इंटरव्यू किया था तो उन्होंने भी बोला था कि आई हैड 2 आउट ऑफ बॉडी एक्सपीरियंसेस. One was at the time of critical, when he was almost about to pass out, when he was doing climbing of the mountain. तो उन्होंने भी शेयर किया. So it is pretty common for people who are able to relax to feel that thing. So basically it's able to like kind of reach that state. That is what it is. और 2-3 बार you also see your eyes. 2 लोग ने मुझे बोला कि they saw their own eyes following, looking at them down. Like you can see that your own eyes are observing you down. So some similar kind of a feeling that you are up somewhere and you're looking down. So it is possible. ये आप data मिल जाएगा आपको. If you look into प्रेक्षा ध्यान, or a lot of people who meditate, you should.
Thank you. Now I will take the question from Dr. Neeraj Jain, please.
हाँ जी सर, जय जिनेन्द्र सबको। मेरा क्वेश्चन डॉक्टर नरेंद्र भंडारी जी से है, या ग्रुप से है। जो बात हो रही थी कि सोल इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी नहीं है, वो पुद्गल है। तो पुद्गल की क्या, पुद्गल से जो मैं समझता हूँ वो है कि मैटर। पुद्गल से जो मैं समझता हूँ वो है मैटर, और इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी तो मैटर नहीं है। जैसे कि मैंने चैट में लिखा है, डिस्क्राइब किया है कि नाइदर ऑक्यूपाई, नाइदर हैज मास नॉर ऑक्यूपाई स्पेस। तो वो पुद्गल कैसे हो सकता है? तो डॉक्टर नरेंद्र भंडारी जी, अगर आप इसके बारे में, अब मैं जानता हूँ आप अपोज करते हो इस थ्योरी को, कि सोल एक इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी है, तो कैन यू हाउ डू यू how do you justify soul being Pudgal? I mean electromagnetic. डॉक्टर भंडारी, क्या आप बता सकते हैं इसके बारे में?
सर मैं कह रहा हूं कि सोल पुद्गल नहीं है ऐसा।
जी, और
हाँ।
और इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी भी पुद्गल नहीं है।
नहीं,
सोल पुद्गल नहीं है,
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी
वो तो
इज
बात
पुद्गल.
ठीक है
You can
जी।
measure magnetism. You can measure
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म पुद्गल
electricity
कैसे
with
हो सकता है? वो
instruments.
मैटर तो
That
है
is
नहीं।
Pudgal. See, electromagnetic energy is Pudgal, is matter. You can measure magnetism. You can measure electricity.
नहीं, but the definition of matter is, do you accept that Pudgal is matter?
हाँ, तो Pudgal is matter, of course.
जी, और मेरा कहना ये है कि इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी मैटर नहीं है, बिकॉज इट इज नीदर मास नॉर ऑक्यूपाइज वॉल्यूम।
उससे नहीं होता है whether it occupies or it has mass or not. There are particles which have no mass. There are particles which have no, they don't occupy any place. That is not a criteria of matter. Matter is one which can be converted into bigger, they can combine and make bigger particles of matter. And they can influence matter. So soul is something entirely different from electromagnetism. That is what I am trying to say.
नहीं, तो आप उसको किस तरह से निगेट करते हैं वो मैं जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि जो है जो मैटर की डेफिनेशन है उसको तो मैच नहीं कर रही है इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी।
Electromagnetic waves can only travel with velocity of light.
हाँ, इन वैक्यूम।
And soul can travel with super luminous speed. So these are different things.
Okay.
Once
So
you say it is
ये जीवराज साहब,
electromagnetism, then
okay.
you limit it to
Bhandari
matter.
sahab.
That means the velocity of light is the maximum. So that is
Soul
not
का
one of the properties we understand of the soul.
भंडारी साहब
तो ये
actually
कहाँ लिखा है कि सोल
ये
कैन ट्रेवल विद स्पीड फास्टर देन लाइट?
जी,
ये तो देखिए आत्मा जो है भाई साहब नीरज जी, वो एक समय में पूरा ब्रह्मांड का एक चक्कर लगा सकती है, 14 राजू ट्रेवल कर सकती है। इसलिए आत्मा को मासलेस और
नहीं नहीं,
does not take
अभी
any
हम अभी हम साइंटिफिक पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बोल रहे हैं कि हम ये प्रूव करना चाह रहे हैं, मैं भंडारी साहब से ये प्रूव करवाना चाह रहा हूं कि सोल इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी नहीं है। ठीक है, अकॉर्डिंग टू मॉडर्न साइंस।
मॉडर्न साइंस आत्मा कहाँ है?
whether it is
इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक
modern
वेव तो नहीं है
science or
साहब।
it is any science,
जी
the
जी,
facts are
हाँ,
facts.
अकॉर्डिंग टू
Let us
साइंस
not
मतलब
let us
अकॉर्डिंग
not
टू,
compartmentalize that this
हाँ
is science
हाँ,
and this
मतलब
is
अकॉर्डिंग टू
Jainism and this
करंट,
is
जी,
ये सर
अकॉर्डिंग टू करंट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ साइंस।
सर
sir.
एक मिनट
This
मैं
is
बोलना
only in
चाहता
our
हूँ।
mind, that partition between science and Jainism and nature and Buddhism is all
बिल्कुल
in
बिल्कुल
our
सही कह
mind.
रहे हैं आप,
They are
बिल्कुल सही
all
कह
the
रहे हैं।
same.
कुछ ना कुछ तो यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ है, कुछ ना कुछ तो
Ah,
एब्सोल्यूट
right.
ट्रूथ
Let
है।
us talk of that.
जी
So once you say electromagnetism, then it cannot travel more than the velocity of
लाइट
light.
हाँ
Whereas soul
लेकिन
is there are three, you have to study a little bit about what Hinduism says. There are three spaces. One is Bhutakash, where the matter can travel. That is where the special theory of relativity is applicable. The other is Manukash. You can take your mind anywhere you like. That is a different domain, different dimension. And the third one is Chedakash, the Chetana. So how we know about everything is because we are in the Bhutakash or the physical world, you travel with a certain velocity.
अच्छा सर, मैं आपसे सिर्फ एक क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ। मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि मैं टर्मिनोलॉजी में नहीं फंसना चाह रहा ना। मैं सिर्फ आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ कि आप कहते हैं कि सोल जो है वो मतलब इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी पुद्गल है, और मैं कह रहा हूँ कि वो मैटर नहीं है।
मैं नहीं कह रहा हूँ, मैं
अरे
डिनाई कर
पुद्गल
रहा हूँ।
नहीं कह रहे हैं सर, वो रिपीट किया उन्होंने 2-3 बार,
मैं
पुद्गल
डिनाई
नहीं
कर
है।
रहा हूँ कि वो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक, मैं कह रहा हूँ वो कॉन्शियसनेस फील्ड में है, वो चिदाकाश में है। इट इज एवरीवेयर, इट इज इंस्टेंटली कनेक्टेड। दैट इज ए वेरी डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ फिनोमेना।
अच्छा ठीक है, वो इतना डेप्थ मुझे नहीं, बस इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक एनर्जी नॉन मटेरियल है ना, ये तो आप मानते हैं।
वो नहीं
Electromagnetic
मानते।
energy is material. You can measure it with a magnet, with a meter, galvanometer. You can measure electricity. I don't understand what is your Neeraj ji question.
चलिए वो जीव, अब ये जरा जीवराज साहब को ले लेते हैं, उन्होंने भी हाथ रेस किया था। उसके बाद में फिर हम और दूसरे लोगों को लेते हैं। जीवराज साहब।
धन्यवाद साहब। आपका प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत ही एनालिटिकल रहा साहब। तो हमको लगता है कि आप सब लोगों को ऐसे एनालिसिस से ही, जो भी लोग आप बोलते हैं कि रीबर्थ हुआ, पास्ट लाइफ मेमोरी है, दे शुड एनालाइज दिस टाइप ऑफ डेटा। आपने बहुत अच्छा किया, लोगों के लिए एक अच्छा रहा कि हाउ टू एनालाइज इट। सो वेयर द फॉल्ट इज वी कैन प्रोबेबली पिन पॉइंट। दूसरा पॉइंट क्वेश्चन तो नहीं है, बट जीसी साहब, डॉक्टर जानसन साहब ने ये फरमाया एक ट्रांस माइग्रेशन। आत्मा का जो ट्रांस माइग्रेशन होता है, ये आजीविका लोगों की थ्योरी थी। गौशाला वगैरह उसका जो खास नेता था कि आत्मा निकल करके हम दूसरी आत्मा मतलब शरीर में ही प्रवेश कर जाती है। तो ये हमारे जैन फिलोसफी के हिसाब से पॉसिबल नहीं है। और आत्मा यानी जो शरीर की आत्मा होती है, जीव होता है व्यक्ति शरीर वाला, वो जरूर दूसरे शरीर के अंदर में प्रवेश कर सकती है। बट औदारिक आत्मा, जीव जो है दूसरे औदारिक बॉडी के अंदर में नहीं जाती है। ये जैन फिलोसफी के हिसाब से है। और मैं यही एक बोलना चाहता था। थैंक यू अनिल साहब।
थैंक यू साहब। हाँ, रमेश जी कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं शायद।
नहीं, मैं तो कहने को तो बहुत कुछ है साहब। तो देखिए, पुर्तगाल, और मैं इसी कंसेप्ट पे आता हूँ। E इज इक्वल टू MC स्क्वायर, माने अब जमाने में मैटर और एनर्जी एक ही है। मैटर कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू एनर्जी, एनर्जी कैन बी कन्वर्टेड इनटू मैटर, दैट इज एटॉमिक थ्योरी। एटॉमिक बॉम्ब यही तो है ना, जितना मैटर टूटता है उससे ज्यादा उसमें से एनर्जी निकल के मैटर कम प्राप्त होता है, तो इट इज कन्वर्टेबल। सो E इज इक्वल टू MC स्क्वायर, माने मैटर और एनर्जी तो एक है, लेकिन सोल इज डिफरेंट। ना ये मैटर है ना ये एनर्जी, इज डिफरेंट, ऑल टुगेदर डिफरेंट, which can travel more than the speed of light. So that's my submission. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question?
Dr. Anil Jain,
अनिल जी,
Yes,
मैं कुछ
yes.
बोलना चाहती हूँ।
Patna ji to
Yes,
answer question of Dr. Elsie Jain. She was able to, provide us information.
हाँ, एलसी जैन ने 2 क्वेश्चन रेस किए थे कि क्या कंटिन्यूअसली 3 बर्थ लेडी का हो सकता है क्या, मनुष्य भोग का। तो आचारांक सूत्र में वी हैव द रेफरेंस इन द फर्स्ट चैप्टर दैट कंटिन्यूअस 7 बर्थ्स कैन बी टेकन बाय संगी पंचेंद्रिय। और अगर हम दूसरा और जाते हैं कि पहले का, इन्होंने कहा कि उसके 2 प्री बर्थ उसको मतलब जाति स्मृति ज्ञान हुआ या पूर्व जन्म का ज्ञान हुआ, लेकिन 7 भव का 2 उल्लेख आता है। उत्तराधीन सूत्र के 13वें अध्याय में चित्त संभूति है, उसमें जो चित्र है उसको पिछले 7 भवों का कंटिन्यूअस नॉलेज आता है, ज्ञान हो जाता है, स्मृति हो जाती है। तो प्री बर्थ के 7 भव उसमें आया है। और ज्ञाता धर्म कथा सूत्र में गुणसेन और अग्निश शर्मा करके 2 कैरेक्टर है संगी पंचेंद्रिय, उनके इसमें भी आता है कि 9 भव कंटिन्यूअसली संगी पंचेंद्रिय के हो सकते हैं। तो प्री बर्थ आके 7 भवों का मतलब अपन को नॉलेज हो सकता है, और कंटिन्यूअसली 9 भव संगी भव भी हो सकते हैं। तो इसमें कोई 7 भवों का अपन को नॉलेज हो सकता है, 9 भवों का नॉलेज हो सकता है, यह आगम का प्रमाण है। ज्ञाता में 9 आया है, और उत्तराधीन सूत्र के 13वें अध्याय में वो चित्त संभूति के अध्याय में 7 भव का वर्णन आता है। तो पिछले 7 भवों का हम नॉलेज कर सकते हैं। आज की डेट में भी कुछ को तो 4-5 भवों का भी नॉलेज मैंने सुना है। उसमें जो आगम के अनुसार तो 7 और 9 भव आए हैं, और इस लेडी ने पिछले 2 भव देखे हैं, तो इट्स पॉसिबल।
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद।
नहीं, एक ही भव का बताया आपने, 2 भव नहीं बताए थे।
दो भाव को बताया ना, एक कटनी में हुआ, दूसरा बांग्लादेश में हुआ,
2 भव
जन्मों का बताया।
अच्छा,
इसलिए 2 जन्मों का
चलिए ठीक है। तो एक्चुअली ये हाँ, ये धृति जी आप क्या कह रही थी, मैं सुन नहीं पाया था।
तो आई वांटेड टू से कि जो डॉक्टर प्रज्ञा जी ने बताया ना, चित्त स्मृति, लाइक सो वी शुड फोकस ऑन दैट।
जाति स्मृति
चित्त स्मृति, जाति स्मृति, किसमें आपने बोला चित्त स्मृति में?
एक्चुअली इट इज पार्ट ऑफ मति ज्ञान, मतलब वो है ना, एक्सट्रीम स्टेट ऑफ मति ज्ञान इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू जाति स्मृति। तो जाति स्मृति में वो पिछले भवों को देख सकता है।
ओके, सो ऑन दैट नोट,
पास्ट लाइफ मेमोरी, जाति स्मृति में पास्ट लाइफ मेमोरी।
Okay, so Dr. Bandari, this was for, in connection with you raised a question on the chitta definition. So I was just thinking maybe etymologically most of the granthas of Kundunacharya were written in South Karnataka area. So maybe we could look at what in Karnataka Tamil language chit means. And I Googled that, and they had a saying that first meaning was coming up as a daily record keeping of activities, or, diary maintaining or something like that. So if we look at that, then that comes out to be more as a repository or a server of memory or something like that, or server of impression or something. So we could probably explore that. And when we say Sachit water and Achit water, for, Prasuka Gandh, water also has been, some scientists say that it has memory, and homeopathic works on that basis. So if water is able to retain memory, and when we clean it up, we boil it, we probably are erasing whatever is the memory of the previous objects in it. Possibly could be an angle to it. So just wanted to bring it up. Thank you.
Yeah, true. What you
Okay.
say is right. I think water can. I have shown in one of the diagrams in the article that when water molecules are organized in a certain fashion, you see, when we make H2O, then all the valency is not satisfied. Some part of the valency, the delta valency, is left. So it can make chains and they can reproduce. And that is the organized form, and that is what organized form of anything I call as Sachit. So yeah, we can discuss that. अनिल कुमार जी साहब, एक पॉइंट जरा मैं, अच्छा आपको स्क्रीन दिखा रहे हैं आप?
मैं नहीं दिखा रहा सर। ये प्रताप संचेती साहब कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं क्या?
जी, I want to say, I have an objection that water cannot have the memory, because function of mind is memory, imagination, and thinking.
Hamni ji,
So,
we have
I
to
think,
define what is memory. See, everything depends on definition.
Okay.
So जो अपन स्मृति कहते हैं वो अलग है, वो जो मेमोरी है वो that is a different kind of memory.
Okay.
So
But it's not so clear.
हाँ, मैं आपसे इसके बारे में चर्चा करूंगा. Memory means it can it is a crystalline structure, is a memory.
Yes,
and
particle
it can
reorganization.
reproduce itself. It can organize, the molecules can organize in a certain fashion, and that goes by memory. Sir, Anil Kumar ji sahab, before you close, I want to make one request that
we have one study on water, that Imoto Mushroom. He has done a lot of study in case of water, and regarding as far as our thinking changes, the size, design, shape of the water changes, and he has shown us Imoto Mushroom in a way. He has written a good book, and in there he has given the many pictures also, and crystal, how it changes.
These experiments
so all
are
the passions, according to the change of passions, the crystal of water crystal changes, shape changes.
Actually, we
whether
are
it is
going
passion or it is the effect of sound, I don't know.
Yeah,
But these
effect of,
experiments are very easy to perform. I think we should, we can perform these experiments very easily in the laboratory.
Yeah.
We need not
Okay,
quote somebody.
yeah, this is different topic in fact. Okay, ये आप कुछ कहे भंडारी साहब, उससे
हाँ,
पहले एक
मैं
मिनट
कह
आप
रहा था
उनसे
कि इतना डिस्कशन हो गया. If anybody here, so many scholars are present, can give a one line or two line of what can be done now, we can prove something experimentally, any question, that will be very useful. This is what I want to suggest, and we can undertake some project on this. So that can be the next step from outcome of this, all the discussion we had. So please send to Dr. Anil Kumar ji all the points you have which can be now proven by either experimentally or theoretically.
Okay, before closing, संचेती साहब कुछ कहना चाह रहे थे क्या सर?
I think we can have a
डॉक्टर
case
संचेती
study.
साहब.
नहीं सर,
डॉक्टर
मैं
संचेती
कुछ नहीं
साहब
कहना चाहता. बस
अच्छा.
मेरा एक ही निवेदन था कि ये जब कहा गया है कि जब सोल मेजर कर सकते हैं तो वो सोल नहीं होगी, ये मेरा इसमें थोड़ा मतभेद है, क्योंकि आज की तारीख में हम मेजर नहीं कर सकते. लिमिटलेस, बाउंडलेस, एवरीथिंग इज देयर. बट वंस वी विल स्टार्ट मेजरिंग, see, similarly at a long period, mind was not measured, but now today we can measure it, and we can do it in the terms of the frequency and waves. So the day will come when the soul will also be measured. That's my good wish. But
not possible. Not possible.
I'm not. Sir, this is my view. So
it is not matter.
No,
it is not a matter. It is not a matter.
It's my view. Please do not comment.
हाँ
And let me complete it. Let me complete it before you interrupt. Or I can stop it also. There is no problem.
नहीं, कहिए साहब.
So if we can,
कहिए.
and there will be a time when science in its progress will be able to measure even the soul also. Right now we are in a position to measure the mind. From brain we have come to the mind. Brain we have done it into the waves. And similarly, it may not be the classical waves which we are saying right now. The electromagnetic may be further bigger than or deeper than those ones. So I disagree with you that once it will be measured, it will not be soul. That's my view.
Yes, there may be some indirect methods, just like they say alpha, beta, delta of mind you measure like this. Anyway, गुड सजेशन. सो एक ये तो है सर, ये भंडारी साहब आप जो क्वेश्चन कह रहे थे उसमें ये है कि एक तो अगर इस लाइन में हमको आगे बढ़ना है तो जो यूनिवर्सिटी इस पर काम कर रही हैं उनसे कुछ कनेक्शंस क्रिएट करें और अपना कोलैबोरेशन बढ़ाएं. एक तो पॉइंट ये है. और दूसरा, एक जो अभी तक निकल करके आ पा रहा है, चाहे वो पास्ट लाइफ स्टोरीज हो कुछ भी हो, तो उसके अंदर एक प्रेत योनि जरूर निकल करके आती है कि वो होनी चाहिए, जो कि जैन धर्म के हिसाब से नहीं है. क्योंकि हर लोगों का कहना है कि साहब ये 6 महीने बाद जन्म हुआ, 8 महीने बाद हुआ, 10 महीने बाद या 5 साल बाद. तो एक वो चिंतनीय विषय है. सो उस पर गौर करा जा सकता है, करा जाना चाहिए. सो और किसी को कुछ कहना है? तो इसके साथ ही फिर हम आज यहाँ समाप्त करेंगे. भंडारी साहब आप कुछ कंक्लूड करना चाहें तो करिए.
नहीं, बहुत अच्छा सेशन रहा साहब और बहुत इंटरेस्ट है. माय ओनली पॉइंट इज वी शुड टेक द नेक्स्ट स्टेप एंड नॉट स्टॉप हियर. तो डॉक्टर अनिल कुमार जी साहब ने बहुत अच्छी तरह से संचालन किया एंड एक्चुअली आई हैव पर्सनली लर्नड लॉट्स ऑफ थिंग्स. I have my own doubts on many points, but besides that, I think this has been a very good experience. So I
ये
want
अगला
to.
आरटीएम, हाँ अगला आरटीएम 22 को रखा है, जिसमें ये डॉक्टर धर्मचंद जी साहब का लेक्चर होगा. उसके बाद डॉक्टर वर्षा शाह और डॉक्टर दिलीप जैन, 3 लेक्चर होंगे उस. हाँ.